Welcome back to another episode of the Adam C. Moreno Show. I hope it finds you well. Guys, you know what I saw yesterday? I saw this video by Gavin Newsom launching his podcast, and I thought this was so interesting because, first off, we saw just how powerful podcasts are in the 2024 election. We saw President Trump utilize them time and again. We saw RFK Jr. utilize them time and again, and it worked astronomically for them. It was this was a cultural shift that we saw where a politician is able to go ahead and talk to normal people, and those people end up reaching millions, expanding their base, expanding their ideas, and it's just never happened before. So this is profound. So I don't think we should be surprised when we see someone like Gavin Newsom actually wanting to get in on the action. I think this is really fascinating. Also, guys, this launch got like almost 14 million views yesterday. This is insane. I don't know if we've ever seen anything like this before, but I do think this is fascinating. There's a lot of really good takes on this, and I think it's just I think it's a really good conversation to have. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Also, let me know what you think about that intro, and make sure to like and subscribe to be part of these conversations in the future. All right, let's check this out.
We need to change the conversation. And that's why I'm launching a new podcast. And this is going to be anything but the ordinary politician podcast. I'm going to be talking to people directly that I disagree with, as well as people I look up to. But more important than anything else, I'll be talking directly with you, the listener. Real conversations. What's going on with the cost of eggs? What are the real impacts to you around tariffs? What power does an executive order really have? And what's really going on inside of Doge? Look, there's an onslaught of information that we take in. So let's take it to the sources without the typical political mumbo jumbo. In the first few weeks, we're going to be sitting down with some of the biggest leaders and architects in the MAGA movement. This is Gavin Newsom.
All right. Okay. So what I want to do real quick is pause the video if you can and just give me your kind of your first impressions on this. Like, what do you think about this? What do you think about Gavin Newsom doing this? And then what do you think about just a normal politician doing this? Do you think, like, abstractly, is that net positive or is that net negative? Before I go ahead and get into some of these takes, okay, just because I think it's kind of important. All right. You paused it. Now let's go ahead and get into it. I saw this from Joe Rogan podcast. I think it's like a parody thing. He says, if the Ick was a podcast at Gavin Newsom, but this thing did extremely well. And one of the top comments reads, what we need is less media from this guy and more work. We need to change the conversation, meaning I can't have you talking to each other truthfully. Let's get back to spreading lies. And I do think there's a lot here, just because, like, is he honestly trying to elevate the conversation and actually, kind of build some common ground and lay a foundation of ideas and go ahead and reflect on that? Like, that's good. Or is he trying to, hey, it's not working when I go on CNN anymore. It's not working when I go on MSNBC. I go on Fox News and things are bad. Maybe I need to create my own platform. Maybe I need to have my own distribution channel. Is that what this is? You know what? Maybe. We don't know, but I do think there's a little bit of truth here. All right? Let me know what you think about that. And also, this is his original caption, just in case I didn't show it. But I'm launching a podcast. We need to change the conversation. I'm talking directly with people I disagree with, people I look up to, and you, the listeners. I don't understand what he means by this. Like, the listeners. Like, are you going to have call-ins here? Because that would be awesome. I know a lot of people who do that. I think David Pakman does that quite often. That's awesome. Whenever you could call in, talk to David Pakman, ask him whatever is on your mind. I think that's cool. I don't understand how he does it. I think he uses Riverside, but that's cool. Like, abstractly, that's pretty awesome. Dave Portnoy also chimed into this conversation. Check this out. He says, let's start with, why did you throw a party for yourself at the French Laundry with no masks on in the middle of COVID, when California had just about the strictest COVID regulations in the country, and thousands of small businesses were going out of business because of said policies? All right. So see, now with this type of platform, with this type of distribution channel, I do think you could actually go into these conversations if obviously he doesn't cut it out and if he allows it. Because again, like with a podcast, anything could go down. Right, you could talk about virtually anything. There's no limitations here virtually, right? But now it's going to be, is he going to self-censor? Is he going to not allow those conversations to actually breathe here? So I don't know. Like part of me is excited because I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I was criticizing the Democratic Party before because they never wanted to participate in these types of conversations. They never wanted to go across to the other side, and that's bad. But now we're actually seeing a little bit of effort, right? He even says here, like, there's people, I'm going to be talking to people that I disagree with. There, like Charlie Kirk is here. Wouldn't you want to see a podcast with Gavin Newsom and Charlie Kirk? Like, let me know. You could very well say no. I'd watch the podcast with Gavin Newsom and Ron DeSantis. I'd watch the podcast with Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy. That sounds awesome. I want to see these guys going at it, talking, having a meaningful conversation. I think that'd be healthy for Republicans, and I think that'd be healthy for Democrats. But you could go ahead and let me know. And I also think it's going to be healthy for these types of conversations to actually breathe a little bit. But back to maybe the adverse side of that. Bill Asayli says, no, you don't want to like elevate the conversation. You want to control the conversation. Stop talking to yourself. Start talking to the press and the public. So, and this is also another fair critique. Like, that's what I mean. Like, he says, like, I want to talk to the listeners. And it really depends on what he means by that. If he has call-ins, if he's actually engaging in the comment section, going back and forth and making sure that those commenters actually breathe, maybe that's like, that would be great. But if it's just more of the same, if it's making sure that specific conversations aren't allowed, I don't know. I don't know if people would like that. I don't know if that's changing the conversation as he is desperately mentioning. Another take is from Justine Bateman. She says that you have time to host a podcast is remarkable. Have you already left office? Is there a post-governorship memoir being written right now as well? If you're done with that position, please step aside so we can actually get a governor in that seat. And this is also just a really fair analysis. You know what I like to see personally? Like, let me see if I could actually bring it up right now while I talk. I don't know if you guys ever watch like AOC, but AOC, many times does she go on Instagram and or do like Instagram stories and she's like, ask me questions, right? And she's just literally in an Instagram story format. She's just answering questions. Perfect, I found one. So AOC takes the time out of her day to go ahead at night, whenever she has a little bit of free time, she just posts on Instagram saying, like, what would you like to see or hear about from me? Questions, topics, and someone goes ahead and says, the infighting online on the left is ridiculous, and the vitriol between the Democrats and Republicans is abhorrent. How do we heal? Okay, and now AOC goes ahead and she answers it. Check this out.
Not insignificant problem. It's interesting that we are in a cultural moment where on the left and the right and the center, there's just a certain cachet and reward to being an ass.
I did not know AOC was going to say a bad word there. I apologize. I'm going to cut it out. But you see what I mean? Like, I just love this type of format where I see a politician just post up a Instagram story and they go ahead and they respond. Like, how long does that take? How long does it take to post an Instagram story? Like, virtually seconds. How long does it take to respond? Assuming this is a one-shot take, this is maybe like a minute long answer. Like, that takes so little time, but it goes so far because now she's able, this is a line of communication between AOC and the listener and the viewer and her constituent. This is really, really powerful, but this isn't a one size fits all because, like we're talking about Gavin Newsom, we go back to Gavin Newsom. Like, this is not a one-shot take. This is a full-on, highly produced podcast. He has a set, he has a background, he has a microphone, and he wants to have like he wants to have really tough conversations with a lot of people. He's going to have guests on here. That's a scheduling. This is a big commitment of time. And to have that really large commitment of time while being a sitting governor, that's tough. That's a tough sell for me. Like I really love the idea of someone wanting to engage in these conversations at a really high level, especially to see it uh, done while someone's, a governor. But it's also like, you're a sitting governor. Like, what are you doing? Like, do you have time for this? I don't know. AOC has time for it. She's a representative, and the amount of time it takes to do that is also significantly less. But to produce an entire podcast, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a tough sell to me. So those are some of my initial thoughts. I know it's a little bit messy, but I do think this is an important conversation to have, especially thinking about how politicians are connecting with media. Anyways, that's just my first impression right now. But what I really want to know is what you think about all this. What do you think about Gavin Newsom trying to start a podcast? Is this net positive? Is this net negative? Does he not have the time? Should he focus on being governor? Or is this good? Do you want to see more politicians engage in different expressions of connecting with the viewers, connecting with the listeners, connecting with their constituents? Let me know what you think about all this, and I will see you all next time. I'm really excited to see what you guys think about this. That's gonna be very interesting. All right, stay safe out there. I will see you all next time, and I hope you have a great and beautiful day. Episode's over already. Geez, that was fast. Well, they say beautiful things do not last forever, but feel free to watch and listen to another one of these episodes if you're interested in those conversations as well. Also, this next part is huge. Make sure to obliterate that like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never skip a beat. I also have a newsletter where we dive into the news, politics, and ideas that shape our future. If you're interested in signing up, I'd really appreciate that. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.